We should be live. Welcome to Live Kingman Live. It's 8 a.m. February 5th, 2024. So we're going to talk about some personal security in the high desert today. Ways you can keep yourself protected. Not only in the harsh environment, but the harsh environment of life. Okay, now that everyone is up to date, look through all the comment sections real quick just to make sure. Okay, so we're going to start with the normal stuff that most people expect, right? In the desert and the high desert especially, because we have mountains, it gets extra cold and we have snow. But even in the heat of the summer, there's a lot of things you should remember that will keep you safe in this type of weather. When you go anywhere, always have stuff to be prepared. Like in your car, you should always have water, a blanket. A lot of people say candle, sand, and hubcap, you know, if you don't have hubcaps. Those are old tricks for getting you stuck out of the snow. Now, we don't have as much snow unless you go into the mountains, but we do have very cold nights. It gets hot during the day, but there's nothing to hold that heat, and it gets very cold at night. So even if you get stuck in your car in the middle of the desert, there are some things you should have, like water, signal mirror, you know, flashlight, batteries, blanket, coat, a knife, strike anywhere matches, maybe a chainsaw, not a actual start chainsaw, but one of those wire chainsaws, so you can make a shelter if need be. Most people stay with the car because they'll know where to find you and you don't know where you're going. The car is a lot easier to see than a person, especially from the air. But if you do know your direction and you know you're so far away and you know you can get there on foot before dark or after dark, before sunrise if you're warm, so it's not too hot while you're moving in the day. Under 20 miles can be covered in a day by a person. But most of this desert is more than 20 miles from anything. Out in the middle of nowhere. To give you an illustration, Kingman has approximately 28,000 people in the city limits, but there's about 63,000 in the surrounding area. So more people live remote than live in the city. And I know people don't like to talk about that. They complain about we don't have this and we don't have that. And we don't spend a bunch of money on this. We don't spend a bunch of money on that. But a lot of our people are very remote. Very. And with that remoteness comes being prepared. A lot of people are prepared in this area. So I'm going to tell you a story that will illustrate this, you know, much better. But let's go over and take a look at the weather real quick. See how the weather is this morning. Okay, what happened there? Not sure what's going on there. But camera seems to be down, and it was just up. But Mr. Kuhl was out in the yard working on stuff, so he might have turned it off. So we might not have any oh, you know what? The block just seems to be not working. Okay, let's try that again. Ah, that would probably be why. Let's see. Nope, it is still not working. So I'm going to do a new one of that. It'll take me just a minute here. And I guess I'll move up the resolution. I put in the address course, which is Liv Kingman dot so wrong gaming dot fun. Help if I might be able to spell wrong, right? Let's see. Everything looks good there. Let's give it a shot. Still has an issue loading. Okay, I guess we won't be working on that today. So let's go back to our story, I guess. And, we can do this and transition over. There we go. Oh, now it's showing up. Look at that. So, all right. That gives us the weather channel there. We don't have a sunrise this morning, of course, because it's cloudy. It's very cloudy. Let's get rid of this other background stuff here. Make it a little bit easier to see. There we go. And we could probably blow that up a little bit too, right? Look at that. Just so we can get some camera view here. Watch the camera. There we go. All right. So, back to our little story there. And actually, we can put up the Discord chat. Oh, it's behind. Okay. There we go. All right. There's also, as you can see, there's a Discord channel link in the menu at Liv Kingman. And there's also a link at the bottom of every page in the footer that says Contact Us Discord. And we'll take you right to the Discord server, which we'll actually hop over and see. I don't see anybody in Discord right now. We are on the Desert Dialogue channel, and there's several channels. And let's see. We will jump over and see if we have any discussion. Don't see any in the live chats. Okay, so on to our story. The story is about personal security, and not only things like snakes and scorpions and Gila monsters, but there's a lot of other things in the wild. So, tell you a story about a couple friends I worked with. We worked together for quite a few years. And this buddy used to keep snakes. And so he would catch snakes, and the state allowed him to keep 2 of each breed, 2 of each kind. He had a pit in Golden Valley full of snakes, and he would grow them and would use them to make, he made me a knife sheath, belts, things like that, all out of snakeskin. And we were looking at other things, freezing heads and freezing snakes and other such things. But, so he would hunt snakes and go out hunting. Him and a buddy of his were out hunting snakes one day. And it's fairly cold out, and in the mountains around here, if you find a cave, then the snakes will gather together there for warmth, but they'll be kind of hibernating. And he would go in, one guy would hold a flashlight and a bag, and he would pick up the snakes and drop them in the bag. Now, we carry, whenever we do this kind of thing, and him and his friend were carrying sidearms with snake shot. If you don't know what snake shot is, it's BBs put into a regular handgun bullet casing, so to give a good spread when you're shooting at a snake, because they're quick and small. But, it doesn't have a lot of stopping power for anything else. And they were walking along on, a trail cut into the side of the mountain, kind of like an old service road, just walking down the road talking, and a mountain lion pops out right onto the trail and charges them. And so they unload their sidearms, everything they got, into this thing, and it drops a few inches from them. Then they bring back the paw to work so we can all see, and they tell us the story. And the paw of this bobcat is nearly as big as my head. It is huge. And they're lucky they survived. But part of that is personal security that we're talking about. Carrying a handgun. A lot of people in the city say, you don't carry a handgun, it's dangerous. And, oh my God, it must be so horrible you have to carry a gun. But there's only one person going to protect you in the wild, and that's you. The police aren't there. Search and rescue out there. They're great. If you need them, you've been bit, you've been attacked. Let's say they got attacked and they didn't kill the thing in time. Search and rescue would probably have to come and help them. And if you're attacked personally, in your personal space, you will have to defend yourself until the police get there to investigate the crime that was perpetrated against you. So preparedness, even for yourself, just hiking or driving around, or like one night in the middle of the night I was getting gas. Well, it wasn't the middle of the night, but 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, stop at a gas station, and one other person at the place, and they come over and pull a knife on you. Now, granted, that's not going to happen in the desert, but it does happen in cities. And without your own personal security, there will be no one there to help you. Avoidance is the biggest. In that situation, we just got in the car and locked the doors. I mean, what's you going to do? Stab at the car? But being aware of the situation and the surroundings was what helped us to be able to get in the car and avoid the situation. So we could talk other ways of personal security. A lot of people do not practice, martial arts or yoga or anything that might strengthen the mind-body connection to make you more aware in the present situation, to stay more in today, more in the moment, not thinking about something else and the past and the future and stuff going on around you don't even notice until it's too late. This helps in a lot of areas. Of course, if you're more aware, you'll be a better driver. If you're more aware, you'll be a better parent. If you're more aware, you'll be a better friend. But the big thing is personal security. You need to be able to make sure and keep yourself safe no matter the situation. We look at the clouds and the rainstorms, and most people don't even realize it. There's no lightning, but there is probably static in the air. I could go out to any piece of metal anywhere around and put a multimeter on it and test, and we'd probably have some voltage. And those are times when you can get struck by lightning. You may not realize it because you don't see lightning, you don't hear lightning, but the static as it builds up has to discharge somewhere. And if you happen to be in that discharge path, you will get struck. And I say this for another example, when installing antennas. We had a day like today, and we were installing a CB antenna for a local celebrity, actually. There wasn't any lightning or anything. The clouds were moving in. It was raining over the Wallapai Mountains. And so we thought we could get it done. I mean, it's only an hour, maybe two at the max. But by the time we finished, the static that was building up in the antenna and the line that we had installed had to be grounded off because it was arcing. Now normally you're going to ground it anyway, and it's going to drain off that static electricity so it doesn't damage your equipment or start a fire by exploding your equipment. But I mean, this was just the antenna and the wire by itself, and it was a huge lightning rod. Just draws lightning. If you're the highest metal structure, you probably will draw lightning. And I don't know if you've ever seen the CB antenna exploded that we showed when lightning hit. And they used to recommend, you didn't have grounding. They didn't have grounding systems. The electrical was just barely grounded. Say 70s. And they used to recommend that you unplug all your stuff, put it in a glass jar, insulator. So we would do that when we would leave to go to work. And so we'd unscrew our CB antenna, which we talked to our family in Illinois and around the world on the CB. And we put it in a glass jar, went to work. We came home and the antenna was umbrella. It was fiberglass, and it was just shattered and hanging down like the mini piece of an umbrella without the covering on it. So when we went inside to check, not only had it jumped through the glass and burnt a small place on the counter, it destroyed all the equipment that was on that same counter, which was a telephone. I believe we had an answering machine at the time, another piece of electronics. The electronics weren't as prevalent and weren't as protected back then, but it definitely killed all those devices. And you still see it around here. I had plenty of customers that have had electrical strikes on their house or on their transformer nearby, and completely blow all the equipment in their house. TV, satellites, computers, printers, or even just blow out the port between the printer and the computer, or, the mouse port or whatever. Because any wiring, any piece of metal can induce electricity when there's static in the air. And insurance companies don't care, and electric companies are not going to care. They have grounded their equipment and done the most protection they can, and your house is grounded, so it's in the most protection it can. But you don't have any lightning arresters. And there's also, when you look at lightning arresters, there's whole house lightning arresters that will also help in the form of, an EMT attack. So, not EMT. EMP attack. Sorry. So, an EMP is basically a large static discharge that will burn up chips and equipment, just like we talked about, like a lightning strike. And building in a protection like that can drain off any of that energy that would hit your house through the ground system and not damage your equipment. Another solution is whole house Faraday cage, but most people aren't going to do that. But lightning arresters are very popular, and you can buy very high quality ones with large clamping that will stop most electrical strikes from getting through your house and destroying your equipment. And even your insurance company's not going to care. They're going to say, pay your deductible, we'll pay the rest. Because it is a very common occurrence, especially when a transformer gets hit. A transformer services 4 households. So if you're remote, it's no big deal, but if you are in the city, that could blow 4 houses worth of stuff. Also, the people that live remote here have a lot other issues like lightning strikes that you don't realize in city because it gets drained off or whatever. If you're the only house in the middle of nowhere, and I've had several customers like this, they've installed their satellite or solar system or whatever, and they're out, in the middle of nowhere, which a lot of people do around here, into the rotors. And what are you going to do, when you have a lightning strike? So I had one person, it was just a house and a chain link fence. And their satellite antenna was installed on the chain link fence, and the wire ran into the house with basic grounding, just put a ground block on it, a little 2-3 foot aluminum or copper rod in the ground. But that's not enough in this area. Unless the ground is wet, this ground doesn't absorb. Getting a 1/4 of an ohm to ground is not easy. They have to put a lot of metal under the foundation of the house, attached to the rebar and stuff to get a house to get good ground in this area. So you can imagine what it'd be like. And if it's a real rocky area, it's going to be even worse. But so these people were blowing satellite boxes just constantly, and the satellite company wouldn't do anything, the insurance company wouldn't do anything, yet nobody wants to do anything. So I went out to take a look, and because it was mounted on the fence was the problem. The fence, being a huge piece of metal that's grounded, because it's buried in the ground, every post is buried in the ground, was a huge draw. It was drawing the lightning strikes to it. They couldn't see it, but it was happening all the time. And it doesn't take much. A few little jolts will blow standard equipment. So we put the satellite dish on its own pole, metal pole, cemented in the ground, closer to the house, not out in the open on the fence. and then also grounded it to the household electrical so it would get a better drain. And we never heard from them again. It solved their problem. They never had a box problem again. These all illustrate different kinds of personal security. We don't realize the danger we're in. And some people don't realize because they come from a big town or other areas that didn't have these issues. You didn't have rattlesnakes. You didn't have, scorpions. You didn't have tarantulas. You didn't have bobcats. You didn't have electrical storms, that because everybody's so close together, there's a lot of trees, a lot of other stuff gets struck before a house does. A lot less prevalent. But really, the only reason Benjamin Franklin did the kite experiment was to discover electricity, and he developed a whole house grounding lightning rod system that saved houses from burning down. In his time, houses burned down from lightning strikes all the time. So, personal security and safety. All these things can help you, and I hope they will. Oh look, we got a little bit of the sun showing up in there, way back there, real light. Well, we gotta clear away the clouds. Or let's see if I can, oh, sorry. Excuse me. Oh, this one, yeah. Okay. So, we're going to take a look at the transforms here. Oh. Okay, let's take a look at chats, see if anybody has asked any questions or even logged in and took a look. I know most people don't. I know that the Discord has one new person who finally put a couple messages. And we'll go over there and take a look at that in a minute. Don't see anybody in the chats. Don't see anybody in Discord. So, I believe the other one was all right. We actually do have a viewer. We have Rob. Yeah. Sounds good. So I am hearing getting some people, and we also had Georgie that logged in this morning, but I believe Georgie is part of the programming people that we've met. There's programming on here, and old cars, and local small businesses, things like that. Any kind of subject you might want to talk about, it's on the Discord server. And if I don't have an answer, I probably know somebody who does. It's pretty amazing the people that live here, and I know here, and not just here. I'm not sure if that's the Rob. I think it is. But if it is, he's from Yuma originally. He's done a lot of stuff in his life and has a lot of knowledge. And I tend to gather around those kind of people who have a lot of knowledge and are willing to share it because they want to help other people. So let's go and see what else we got here. I'll just answer him in the Discord real quick. Oh, okay. Don't see any others. Let's switch back to this channel. So that discussion went on in the Kuhl Productions Welcome channel. And then we are actually in Desert Dialogue. And we have two Desert Dialogues. There's a text only, which has a pound sign in front of it. And so you can talk on this subject, this show. And I will see it in that chat as well. But also, we have it in, you'll see underneath Liv Kingman. There's also another channel there that has a speaker-looking thing in front of it. Voice, that's a voice channel, also called Desert Dialogue. And that Desert Dialogue has its own chat in there, as well as, me speaking, or any other screens we decided to show in Discord as well. Maybe I can get us a copy of that in here so we can see, because I'd like to show you the other Discord that I'm working on. And we're going to go, nope, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Let's do this. That's fine. And I'm going to have to close out some of this other stuff so we can see it. Well, if we ever do. Hello. Huh. Well, that's unusual. That's okay. We'll go with that, though. What? Why are you doing that? Okay. Huh. Okay, well, at least that worked. So now you can actually see this is where we're broadcasting at on there. You see me talking right there. And you can see there's other channels here. And we also have this one. So, let's see. Right. Oh, wrong one. Can't interact with the weather one. Oh. Okay, I guess I can't act with that, but I can change it over here. So, we're going to go over here. Oh, I shrunk it down. Let's go over here. And so as you can see, this is the channel I'm now, and then there's also a Desert Dialogue here. Also a Liv Kingman, other categories here. More down here in gaming, arts and crafts, computers, education. Okay, and then this is another server that I'm building. So this is a server that is made for communities. So people to share their stuff, and there's contests and announcements and all kinds of stuff built in because it's made for a community like this. But we'll switch back to my server real quick, and you can see where we normally are. Okay, It also allows me to share my screens, which makes it a very nice tool for education, a very nice tool for communication, um, and because you can share your screens, then you can share with the other person, and they can share with you, and you can see what's going on, as well as, show them or tell them how you can help them. So that's why we have the education stuff in there. A lot of people do not understand, especially in this area, the whole digital world. They don't understand how things are changing. This goes back to the same thing we were talking about, personal security and safety, because online you have to protect yourself as well. There's all kinds of things you can do there to protect you, and we have talked several times on it. I've written several articles on the website about it. LiveKingman.so wronggaming.fun. Once again, it has been a little slow, and at the beginning of the month it usually is pretty bad because one of my dogs has epilepsy, and at the end of the month she has an attack, and the cleanup and the emotional damage that happens in that first week, the end of the month and the first week of the month, is just crazy. We're trying to make her, I guess, kind of suffer through and live for us for as many years as she can. She doesn't suffer too much. Medicine does a pretty good job, but it's getting worse, and sooner or later we'll have to put her down, and that will not be fun. But another thing in personal security right there, pets. They're a great alarm system, they're great companions, but they will warn you and protect you from dangers around you, including snakes. In fact, they usually get bit. You can get a shot from the vet that will lessen the effects of snake bites. But my dogs are kind of crazy anyway. Hannah swallows bumblebees and wasps and stuff, and her whole face swells up, and it's a whole other thing. I mean, everywhere else you guys are used to wasps and hornets and stuff, but when a rattlesnake bites your dog and they swell up like a balloon, it's not a pretty sight. Personal protection and safety here. I'm sure some of my listeners agree. A lot of people here practice shooting sports. Why did we lose our camera? That's connecting back. There we go. Sorry, must have had a bad connection or something. Oh, well, you guys aren't seeing the camera right now anyway. So, let me turn this off and we can go back to our normal. Oh, not that one. Oh, we can do that one. People like to see something a little different every now and then, right? We're going to change out some pictures here. Take a look at what we see. And we seem to have, for some reason, that's why. There we go. And we're back. So, we're talking about shooting sports, and people who like to reload and shoot and hunt and fish. It's very popular in this area because we are a remote area. Yeah, so I like to go out 4x and riding a motorcycle, and the quads and stuff. A lot of trails to cover. But as we were saying, I believe it's the Arizona law that says you got to be a quarter mile from any structure that's occupied, and that is not, occupied as a residence, as people being there all the time. So if you read that, they really stress that, buildings that are not occupied you can be shooting around. Now, when you go to the city ordinances, or the county, somewhere in there, if you read those ordinances, it jumps up to a half mile near the city. So, but the idea is, around here, if you can go out, you can go out just about anywhere. And as long as you're careful where you're shooting, you know, have some kind of backstop, so your bullets just don't carry forever. Then, you know, people go out and target shoot and trap shoot and hunt all the time. And you will see a lot of that very prevalent here. And the guy we were talking about earlier, my friends that were with the Bobcat, we would go out shooting trap all the time. We would take a trap machine and weld it to a tire and wheel, and then go buy you know, clear pigeons and shotgun shells, and go out in the middle of the desert and start shooting trap. Now we also have you know, a range here that does a lot of stuff and has a lot of good stuff. So if you're more of a range shooter, you can go out there, but a lot of people just go shooting in the desert. Now I know in other states and other cities you had to go to ranges. You can't use your weapon anywhere else. But in Arizona, we believe in open carry and concealed carry because of personal protection and safety. No one will protect you but you. Okay. Well, I am we're doing pretty good on time. Oh, I wanted to discuss 2 guests that I have coming up. This month, we're supposed to have a chef who will be, we'll probably do it after Valentine's Day because we don't really want to crowd that holiday with a bunch of stuff. People are busy. But he will be on. I believe he's going to show us a dish and some cooking principles. He works at a resort by the Grand Canyon. And they have a huge native population in their area. I believe he's 45 minutes from Page. But we'll get him on here and have him tell all about the restaurant and the new types of food they're going to be having there, and other things they want to do, or he wants to do to improve the area. Then, it's looking like March, we have a blues guitarist that will stop in and discuss some music and things of this area. And we do have a pretty big music scene here. Crazy for such a small community. But you have places where they've always played. I don't know if you remember Tequila Bob's, but Tequila Bob's is an old hangout here. It was on Northern. Just a bar. But the owner had a band. And so they would play live all the time. We've had Wandering, and I believe I have some recordings, and we have that in our stuff. You know, some wandering minstrel type people, you know, just coming to a place and set up their guitar and play for tips, or even if the club or bar or wherever they're at, coffee shop, hosts them and gives them a little money. There's places like Blackbridge Brewery who run, you know, Friday nights on their back patio, have a band, and of course there's First Fridays where we have, and you've seen some of those live broadcasts I've done there, where we have bands playing right on the street, you know. And of course, that whole district downtown, that downtown district is really going towards that promotion and celebration, especially First Fridays, is a big thing at the beginning of every month. Okay, well, we don't have any chatters and we don't have any guests, but if we did, I probably would have ran right over top of their time because I have just spent my time talking away. And we're almost at time. Ooh, that's what happened. It looks like our stream had a serious drop. Must have been the internet thing. Wow. Wow, it dropped really, really bad on all metrics. But it was only a couple seconds, and that's what probably when our camera probably went. I believe I might have lost the internet for a couple seconds. But it held on. And so if you don't know, we are broadcasting on several locations. We have Live Kingman on YouTube, but that is broadcasting our live weather video that you're watching right there, right now. I guess that's a little behind, huh? We don't have the live weather video. I was watching the wrong screen. Okay, let's. This would be here if it ever draws. Oh, look at that. Anyway, so there's the weather. Seeing it's still cloudy, definitely still cloudy. Nothing we can do there. But we do have the sun just starting to rise. Come out over there. Usually we have a nice sunrise for the morning show, but not today. We couldn't get so lucky. Okay. Back to checking the chat just to make sure I did not miss anybody. I don't want to miss anybody who wanted to have something to say or ask a question. I don't see anybody on the Facebook page, but as we were saying, so we have multiple Facebook page. The Live Kingman Facebook page, we are not broadcasting on live right now because the live weather broadcasts on there 24/7. And that live weather has been running now for quite a while. 24/7, it never stops. Unless we have a problem with the feed or electricity or something like that. Internet or electricity. And usually just a few seconds we can reset it and it'll be right back and running. So this is actually on our other page, which is Kuhl Productions, which is another that's YouTube. So these were all YouTube that I'm talking about, not Facebook. I'm sorry. YouTube is where we are live broadcasting the weather all the time, and then this is being broadcast on Kuhl Productions. We also have Kingman Pool Players, of course, where we've done live pool playing videos and broadcasts, and a few other channels that we are creating. We are creating a channel for this, Desert Dialogue, a live channel for this, as well as some other ones, but they really limit us in our channels. So 2 a year, and I already have 3 or 4 broadcast channels. So on YouTube, that's what we'd be at Live Kingman, at Kuhl Productions LLC, at Kingman Pool Players, at Desert Dialogue. There's a few other ones on there too. And then on Facebook, we're broadcasting on 3 Facebook pages all at once. Of course, the Live Kingman. We are live on Live Kingman, and we are on So Wrong Gaming, and Where's it? What's the other one here? I can't remember, huh? The other one's probably Kuhl Productions. Yeah, the other one's Kuhl Productions. So those are Facebook pages, but we have a whole list of Facebook pages in case you're interested. American Legion AZ Post 14 for the American Legion. Desert Dragons is a gaming site. King of Pool Players, of course, is about pool. Kuhl Productions is about these type of projects that we do. Menacing Peppers, if you don't know, that was a hot sauce company that they're not selling currently, but they are still in business. Owned by a chef that is starting his own restaurant. We have the Route 66 Rewards, which is a reward program that we are working on. Salad Tossers, another game. Service Club's Charity Pool League, another pool-related, billiards-related page. So Wrong Gaming, which is about all kinds of games in real life and digital. Toddler Classic, which is another billiards type game. Wrong Adventures is about adventuring, games of adventure and all kinds of game broadcasts. So as you can see, we have quite a few channels and quite a few different places to see us. And we have been, probably on the internet longer than most people I can remember. Old dial-up days. But even before that, I think I was on the internet before it was the internet. We were doing D-dials, and we were doing bulletin board systems. I don't know if you know what a D-dial is, but it's basically, like Discord. It's a place where people could come together to chat, but it used an old Apple II computer and 8 modems, 7 or 8 modems, 8 modems, I think. And so 7 modems allowed 7 people to call in and chat. It had different chat rooms and stuff. But then that D-dial would use the 8th modem to connect to another D-dial. And then they would daisy chain throughout the United States, and you had these huge chat rooms. And they usually did it on a Friday night or Saturday or something like that for the bigger stuff. Or they announced an event and ran it that way. And so then you had, people that were only interested. But the whole thing has changed. There's no such thing as D-dial now. I mean, you can text someone on your phone, and you can get people in groups easy. You can get tons and tons and tons of people if they have a similar idea or things they want to discuss. So I've been doing this stuff a long time, and I'm always willing to help people. I'm always willing to educate people on. That's one of the big things about personal security and safety is on the internet. You're dealing with people you don't know. You're dealing with people that will pretend to be someone else, people that will do anything to not only cheat you, but to get what they want. And so personal security and safety is important in the real world and in the digital world. Don't be fooled. There's not someone going to protect you. They don't protect you in real life either. The wild, real life will come for you. The police will come by and investigate. The coroner will pick up your body. That's it. You are the one who will make the choice whether you're going to survive or die. Now, surviving or dying in the digital world ain't as big a deal, but there's so much personal information about there. Even if you do survive, that person can make your life a living hell for the rest of your life. Okay, got about 5 minutes left. I don't see anybody in the discussion, but I wanted to make sure that you knew that we will be back here every Monday, unless there's an emergency or some problem like we had last week. every Monday we'll be here. I start in the Discord chat about 7. So I have to set up and decide, the talks and talk to people about becoming guests and things like that. And so I'm usually in Discord an hour before we start broadcast. We start broadcast at 8 a.m. and finish somewhere around 9. Sometimes we run over, sometimes we run short. And even though the guest spots are scheduled for an hour, I imagine if they get talking, these guests want to talk about their stuff. If they get talking, then it can run even farther. Now, I had a couple inquiries of speakers, and so we have 2 guests lined up, but always looking for more. And I believe it was, Mailman. Some of you may not know him, know who he is, but his wife is a broker and has several realtors, and so we're probably going to have a segment on, housing, and I will be going over either with the broker and realtors what they'd like to discuss, but hopefully it'll be stuff that will help people wanting to move to Kingman or wanting to buy in Kingman to make the transition much more smooth, and so you know what you're getting into, which is what we want to keep you informed and safe. So with that, I'm going to cut off today and say I'll see you next Monday. But thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, and I'll see you on the streets.